Meet your new go-to for a fresh and inclusive approach to health.
Wellness Rebranded is the pod where a dietitian, a personal trainer, and a mental health therapist combine perspectives to help you redesign your relationship with food, fitness, and your feelings.
Whether we're serving up juicy stories, breaking down the latest research, or dropping practical tips, we'll leave you informed, inspired, and ready to take health-promoting action.
We get you because we are you.
We've joined forces because we know that health isn't one-dimensional, and neither are you.
Tune in for real talk that cuts through the wellness and diet culture hype. Stay for the laughs, the insights, and the feel-good vibes.
The Annapolis Symphony Orchestra invites you to join fellow music lovers and our accomplished professional orchestra, led by artistic director and conductor Jose Luis Novo. We're Anne Arundel County's oldest and largest performing arts nonprofit. For 63 years, we've brought exceptional music performances to Annapolis and across Anne Arundel County. Join us at Maryland Hall or the Music Center at Strathmore for our remaining concerts in our 63rd season. Pictures at an exhibition January 31st through February 2nd, featuring our own concertmaster, Netanel Dryblot. Serenade February 28th through March 2nd, with works by Beethoven and Bernstein, featuring violinist Noah Bendix-Bogley. And Fiesta April 4th and 5th, featuring the world premiere of Roy Say's newest composition and the vibrant music of the Dali String Quartet. Let the music inspire you. Get your tickets today at AnnapolisSymphony.org.
Hello, guys. We were having a really interesting conversation off the mic just a few minutes ago, and we were talking about beauty and aging and the standards that we hold for all that. And we kind of wanted to bring you guys into the conversation and see what you think about it. So the thing that kind of like the catalyst for this conversation was someone showed us this post from Nelly Furtado. And I'm going to read like parts of it to you so that you guys kind of have some context here. But she's standing in her room with a bikini on in a mirror, taking a selfie, and she says, "Have a body neutral 2025, but most importantly, love with every inch of your heart. Thanks for the memories this year. This year, I became aware of the aesthetic pressure of my work in a brand new way, while simultaneously experiencing new levels of self-love and genuine confidence from within. For whoever cares, I've never had any body or face surgeries or augmentation besides for veneers until quite recently. So far, I have not had any lip or face fillers of any kind. I do have a loving old school facialist, and I've used serums and creams since I was 20. The day before photo shoots and on the red carpet, I drink a lot of water and I sleep on my back. Sometimes my makeup artist will use face tapes, or my stylist will use body tape to give a different look or a different silhouette. Body makeup can also be used to contour. Makeup is magic, essentially."
Isn't it so interesting that a celebrity or any person feels like they need to come out and justify that or share it?
Right? Like it's none of our business.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a lot of pressure. Let's talk about that for a minute. How much pressure is, I'm sure it's different for everybody, but have you guys felt pressure of following maybe a specific trend or doing something that everybody else is doing because then otherwise you're like not following these beauty standards? How does it work for you?
No, there's so much pressure, I feel like. Interesting because I feel it with social media. Like I show up to work every day looking how I look, and the whole gym knows how I look, and everybody that knows me knows how I look, and nobody seems to care. But as soon as I post something on social media or think about doing like a live video or whatever, I'm like, oh, I'm not wearing makeup and my hair, it's on like day 3. Like I start to feel anxious about putting myself out there like that, because social media can be such an unforgiving place when it comes to appearances.
Yeah, I think I feel it around aging. Obviously,
Yes.
I'm the old one of the group here, but
Older.
yeah. Let's face it, like we don't live in a culture that really celebrates aging and the changes that happen. And even just something as simple as why are men considered to be sort of distinguished when they're aging and have gray hair, but
The
women
silver fox.
Yeah, but women like, no, we need to go get rid of it. And I realize that actually changed a little bit now because I think silver hair is in, but
Yes.
But I still feel pressure around it. I have to go get my hair dyed every 4 weeks, basically.
Girl, this morning.
That's why it looks so good.
No, gonna talk about me, Elizabeth, okay?
I was talking about your hair.
Oh, no, I'm saying this morning, I'm getting ready to come here and I go to the mirror and I see like these 3 gray hairs sticking out. Well, there's many, but these 3 ones are here in the
I'm like,
front.
I have like 3,000.
So I went and got my tweezers and I'm like 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, I don't like this gray hair. And that moment I'm telling myself like, oh, this gray hair. And why? Right? Why instead of
Because the gray ones always come out all like janky.
Yeah, wiry.
But there's a lot of energy going through these 2 seconds or more, like 30 seconds of me picking out my gray hair and the thought behind it, like,
Yeah, that's something bad or like
aging.
yeah.
It's yet another thing to be fixed.
Or mourning, the grieving of what it was. So then we're not focusing on our present moment because we're grieving who we were, so we're not enjoying who we are now. So am I gonna be grieving who I am now in 10 years?
Probably,
And here I am
yeah.
wasting my time in grieving who I was. So here we are in the cycle of grieving who we were to not enjoy moment at the present moment. But I wanted to say that I watched on TV this celebrity singing at a recent event. And when she came out, I'm like, oh, I wonder if this person, and then they introduced her with you, this person. And I was like, she looked completely different than maybe a year ago with a lot of plastic surgery. And I mean, a complete change. And my reaction, my feeling at that moment was sadness. This is maybe just my own process, but it was like, why are we falling into this trap that we need to have things done or look a certain way to fit whatever mold that is, or to fit in, or to be called beautiful, or to catch people attention based on our appearance? So again, no, I mean, more power to you if you want to have plastic surgery. The question is, where is it coming from? And I feel that sadness, maybe because I am aware of the different messages that of the things that we need to do to be okay, to be acceptable, to be pretty, to even be healthy. I don't know.
Well, because I think it all comes down to the pressure we all feel, right? And I mean, you can call it diet culture, beauty culture, whatever you want to call it. I think we all feel a lot of pressure in various ways to conform, quote unquote.
It's really frustrating too when you feel that pressure and you try to like push back against it, only to have it like thrown in your face at every turn, you know? And I think we see that sometimes in my life. Here's an example. You know, when I was demoted from my position as manager of the gym, it was because I didn't fit the image that they're looking for. Like, that's bullshit.
I believe that's called discrimination.
Right.
Tell me about it.
And or how much attention are we giving to the things that stay, that are really part of you, beyond the appearance? With my daughters at a clothing store, and you know how sometimes behind the cashiers they have like a huge picture of a model with maybe a piece of clothing. This one was like laying down on the side, you know, and you could see her arm and under her arm and all that stuff. Everything was perfect, right? Her skin, her hair, everything. So I looked at it for a minute, and it's huge. It's a huge picture, okay? That it expanded to the biggest. And I turned to my daughters and I said, do you see anything wrong with this picture or anything that catches your attention? And they're like, no. So I'm like, look at her skin, her hair. And then the little one says, it's like, it's perfect. It has nothing. And I'm like, right, what else? And then she's like, she has not even the marks under her arm after you shave. You know how you can still see. And my daughter just started shaving under her arms.
That's so cute.
The little one, and I was like, that's right. All that is created for this.
Yeah.
Probably she doesn't look like that at all in real life. She has everything that we all
It's such
do.
a great gift that you're giving your children, by the way, to teach them that media literacy and point it out from
like,
young ages.
Yeah, all that is Photoshop. She is like like you and I. She probably had those marks under her underarm, and she has some marks on her skin, on her pimple here or there, and her hair doesn't. but this is the message they want us to have, is that come buy these clothes and maybe you're gonna look like that, or that's the standard. Is not even nobody looks like that. So it's not even a real standard. It's something impossible, and there
It's
we
impossible.
It's not real, but we forget it.
are.
Like, it's not like many of us are often analyzing a picture like that and thinking, remembering that it's not real and thinking about everything that went into the picture looking like that. We just see it as the standard of beauty, and subtly we absorb it,
Mhm.
Yes.
right? And we've been absorbing it from the time we were really young. And I think that's sort of a conversation. Well, I mean, I know that's a conversation that I have all the time with when I first start working with clients, of teaching them what diet culture is, where it shows up, all the ways that they're going to encounter it. And invariably they come back and say, I'm actually really A, shocked, and B, disheartened at how much I'm encountering it. And it's amazing to me that I never noticed before. I didn't notice all of the messages and how it was making me feel.
Yeah, I think it's super important to remember, like, just to drive that point home, that like the people in the pictures don't even look like that.
Yeah.
And an example I see of this in my daily life is like bodybuilders. You know, if you ever have met anyone who's competed in a bodybuilding competition, they will put their stage pics all over the place. And they looked like that for precisely like 3 hours because they've had their spray tans, they've been dehydrated, you know, they hadn't eaten at a certain interval before the show. So in the pictures, they look a certain way, but you see them like 2 days later in the gym and they look like regular human being, pretty much. You know, so like that photo is just one snapshot of time. And I think the same would be true for like models and people like that too.
Well, and also it seeps in even more subtle ways. So recently we were in a wellness setting with a lot of other health and wellness people who have visibly had done a lot to sort of change their appearance and mitigate the effects of aging. And we were having a conversation about how a lot of times that's what gets sold as health, right? Even just like maybe someone whose weight is artificially suppressed through, you know, maybe disordered eating or something like that. Or in your example, the bodybuilding is an extreme example of it, but those things get sold as the picture and the goal of health and wellness, when A, they're not always healthy, B, they give us a distorted view of health, and the messaging can be subtle, but it's there.
And let's clarify, this place we're talking about wasn't a place, you know, like a plastic surgery clinic. It was a place promoting massage, meditation, that kind of stuff, and all the staff looked similar in that sense. So it's, you know, how much maybe the message can be a little contradictory of, or what is really the message that we're portraying or sharing about what health should look like.
And yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before on the podcast, but I know I feel it. It's talked a lot about in dietitian circles. I know, Tara, that you feel it as practitioners, maybe not so much in mental health, Maria, although you can tell us, but our own individual bodies are often, whether it's spoken out loud or not, they're sort of part of the conversation, unfortunately.
It's like your cover letter.
Well, in fitness, we say your body's your billboard.
Right.
I hate that. I do too. But I have a big billboard to advertise on, so let's go.
Talk about how awesome you are.
Can fit a lot of words on my shirt, man.
But I can see it as a dietitian the same way. Is she a dietitian? How does she look like? Because that is going to tell me how good of a dietitian she is based on how she looks like, because then she's eating the food that she's saying she, I don't know.
I mean, I think that is how a lot of the culture thinks about it, right? But it has nothing to do with your knowledge base, right? Or your counseling skills or anything.
Yep.
But, and that's just unfortunate that we live in a culture that does think health has a certain look when it doesn't.
Yeah.
And can I bring to the conversation the part that sometimes when we listen to some of these messages or the criticism for not looking a certain way, usually in my experience is from women to a woman.
Yes.
How much are we criticizing and bringing another woman down because of the way she looks? Right? And that's the first thing that we are seeing and commenting on. Like I have many friends that maybe come and say, oh, I saw so and so. And the first comment is, she looks this way or she looks that way. And I was like, and what else? Was she friendly? Has she accomplished?
Is she happy?
Is she happy? Has she accomplished things? Is she
Right.
have plans or no, it is that. And I've even heard from close friends saying something like, hey, Maria, you should wear makeup all the time. You should pay more attention to your appearance. And I'm like, why? And what is wrong with my appearance now? How is that measuring my success, my motherhood abilities, my happiness, what would that change? Is that gonna make me a better friend for you if I wear makeup every day?
Well,
Maria, let me tell you, I made a video once for social media advertising something, and I was like, ooh, I gotta put some makeup on. So I like did my full face, I did my hair, like I looked good. And then I got on the video and the comments were like brutal. So I just wanna say that even if your hair and makeup is on point and you look awesome, and maybe you've got like your big hoop energy going, people will still find a way to hate.
well, the hater's gonna hate, right?
That's right.
But
I'm gonna hate.
Taylor in the studio with
That's
us
what you
today.
get, right? Don't give me a.
no, that is what I was thinking. No, but or the flip side of that, how often have you felt almost like you need to explain away some part of your appearance because you feel like you're
Yes.
going to be judged? Like I'm thinking about a conversation I just had with someone recently. It was a client who's, on her healing journey, food and body image healing journey, and she's very hyper aware of diet culture. And she told me she saw a friend that she hadn't seen in a long time, like probably a year, and they greeted themselves, and the very first thing that the friend did was comment on the friend's own appearance, like basically criticize an aspect of her body. And like, isn't that fascinating? I mean,
It's so common
I
though.
think, yeah.
I feel like the insecurity that diet culture can bring to people is like so common that we feel like we have to say like, oh, I slept horrible last night, and hopes that explains away like the bags under our eyes or whatever, you know?
Good point.
The pressure is just so subtle. But think about what happens in that moment, right? The second you're with a group of friends and one of them makes a negative comment about even their own appearance, it immediately has you doing what?
The same.
Thinking about your own appearance, right? And gosh, well, I wonder, like, what do I look like? Or it brings everybody down, but especially women it seems to be a common way that we relate to one another or bond or something.
I had like a moment of this when I first reconnected with my husband. I'm not even sure that Marcus knows this story, but
Now you have my attention.
Do you
To borrow Maria's phrase from another podcast. We're 20 minutes in and I'm listening.
So Marcus and I, backstory for those of you who don't know, we met when we were in high school. We were exchange students in Costa Rica. We both came back, we maintained phone contact, but we hadn't seen each other in 10 years. And I just happened to be out in Texas, near-ish where he was living, and he was gonna meet me for dinner after this conference one night. And so I saw him in the lobby walking through looking for me, and I was like, oh, there he is, yay! And then I was like, oh, I look so different than I did 10 years ago. Maybe I should just pretend like I didn't see him. And then I was like, that's crazy, he's hilarious, let's go. And then I got over it, but like, think about how silly that is, right? Like, oh, I didn't look like I did when I was 17. Like,
As you should.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
welcome to life, man. But like, that diet culture was so deeply ingrained in me that I felt like, oh my gosh, maybe I should just not see my friend. And then, spoiler, by the end of the weekend, we were more than friends.
Very delicately
So
put.
basically, spoiler, by the end of the weekend, he really liked what he saw. Got it. He still likes what he sees. How
Yes,
many
he
years
does.
later? Like 16.
Like 12, married.
Mhm. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So what is the antidote to this? Like how, as women, if we go back to that point of women criticizing other women, what's something we can do as women to stop this and support each other without caring how we look like?
I can think of three things.
Okay.
Three things immediately came to mind for me.
Okay.
Whoa, overachiever.
Sorry.
I had one.
Okay.
I had 0, and I asked a question.
Well, the
Asking
first
for a
one,
friend.
I think I'm just forever like raise your awareness to it, become aware of it. Like it doesn't have to be right, or just know that that pressure exists and the impact that it has on you. Take note. The second thing I think is work really hard to give non-appearance based compliments.
Yeah.
Like it's just an easy one to do, but it keeps everybody focused on appearance. So work really, really hard to find other things to compliment. Like go deeper is
Yeah.
usually the challenge I give to myself and my clients. And then the third thing that popped into my brain was like make an agreement with your girlfriends not to have those conversations, and in a loving way. If someone in your circle does sort of start bashing their body, call them out on it and remind them that we don't need to have those conversations. They don't make anyone feel good, and you are so much more than your body, and I love you because XYZ.
I love that. It's almost like if you hear
It's
something,
like making
say
a pact.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're getting to this.
Yeah.
Is it like pity party?
Yeah.
This is-
Yeah.
Let's just, and make us aware, because that also helps how often we do it
Yeah.
and with what purpose. So if what we need right now is just talk about something related to that or what causes that, is a different conversation. Well, let's just bash our bodies as a way to connect.
Yeah, and also like it makes me think permission to go in with your girlfriends and say something you're really proud of yourself for.
Yes.
Don't just like not do the negative.
I try to give you an example. That's
You
my
are
thing
really
that
good
I
at that.
thought of. It's like, how can I model the behavior that I'm looking for?
Okay, let's model it now. Let's share something that you're proud of yourself that has nothing to do with your appearance. And let's share one or many things that you love about your appearance.
Oh, jeez. You go
Okay,
first.
I have really strong legs.
Okay.
I love that.
What
It
about
allows me to do a lot of things in life that, like carrying a 50-pound child up the stairs when he's sick.
What about not related to appearance? Something you accomplish, something you're proud of yourself?
I am risk adverse, but I do pursue opportunities that are a little bit like anxiety inducing for me. So even when I feel a little bit nervous, I still go after stuff.
Yes, you do.
Elizabeth's looking at me like that. What?
I'm looking at you like that because you stole mine. I was going to say, I love a good challenge. Like, if it is going to be hard and I have to figure it out, like, sign me up. That's why I became a beekeeper and why I went back to get a master's degree and, like, totally change careers in the middle of my life, or learn how to play the piano, even though it makes me feel like my head's going to explode. Like, I love a good challenge. So that is one thing that I appreciate about myself.
Wait, you said beekeeper?
Yeah.
Like the bees? Like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Oh, what?
I learned how to.
The scary thing is she's allergic to them now.
Well, now I am, but I wasn't when it started.
Yeah.
That's a topic for another episode. But yes, I
In
have.
between the coral restoration and the beekeeping? Okay,
We're science geeks.
okay. What about what do you like about yourself physically, your appearance?
Oh, most of the time I like my hair. I like my eyes.
I like your eyes. Yeah, I was gonna tell you that.
I like your smile too.
Thanks.
Okay, from things that have nothing to do with appearance, I like my passion for what I do. I love that I get to do what I love as a profession.
Yeah, you do like it.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
I
do.
do. And another thing is I'm really good with feedback. Like I'm open for feedback. Like when people say something, Maria, you could do this better. I didn't like when you did that. Even if it hurts, I'm taught myself to take it and learn from it. So it's a good thing to.
Yeah, that's a skill. That's a good skill. Oh, and by the way, we have a lot to talk about. Now that I know you're open to feedback.
Oh, that's good. I'm open for constructive and positive feedback.
I delivered it very
Oh,
gently.
Right. So
Of course
if
not.
you have also positive feedback, that's good. And then
I jest. I think you're awesome.
I do too.
Thank you. I know.
I know.
I know.
I'm kind of a badass.
Quote of the day.
And physically and my appearance, yes, I love my hair, and I don't want to say the other thing I love about myself
Oh,
because it could get really tricky.
Like your breasts or what?
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I think I'm the perfect size and shape. That's so weird, but I love my boobies.
I have no idea why that came to me because it's not someone's ever seen that.
Maria, I think Elizabeth's been checking you out.
I was just trying to think, what would she be like? Not want to say? It was the
Okay,
first
at
thing
this
that came to
point
mind.
of this
Hashtag me
marriage,
too.
of this threesome, everything counts. Okay, we sign papers
Yeah,
and
we are
everything
still
together.
recording, ladies.
Sorry. Sorry, that went south. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening.
See, I said spicy.
Spicy.
It's a part of myself like any other girl. I embrace all parts of
Earlier,
me.
we were recording a fun reel and we did like a rapid fire. What's the first thing you think of when you think of each of us? And my word for Maria was spicy.
Which, by the way, go on our Instagram account, Wellness Rebranded, and watch the reel so you know what we're talking
And
about.
also, while you're there, download our self-care planner because, to quote Tara, we're kind of badasses and it's pretty cool.
And one way to be a
So-
badass is just take care of yourself.
Yes, thank you. I love
So,
that.
okay.
Nice.
Thank you everyone for listening. This was another episode of Wellness Rebranded, and we love chatting with you. If you liked what you heard, please leave a review, a like, share the episode with a friend, send any questions that you have, connect with us on Instagram, and we will talk to you next time.
You know that exhausting cycle of obsessing over your food choices, tracking every bite, feeling guilty after eating, and promising yourself you'll start fresh on Monday? If you've been stuck in that loop, I want to share something important. The problem was never your lack of willpower, and the solution is not another diet or a better plan. This is Elizabeth, and I created my Thrive Tribe 4-month group coaching program to help you break free from this exhausting cycle of dieting by showing you how to heal your relationship with food and your body. Inside the group, you'll learn how to stop letting the scale determine your mood, how to keep all foods in the house without feeling out of control, how to silence the constant food chatter in your head as you reconnect with your body and its cues so you can trust yourself and your food choices. Doors to Thrive Tribe are currently open, and the next group will launch in the middle of February. To learn more and see if you're a good fit, book a free strategy call with me now using the link in the show notes. I intentionally keep these groups small. There are only 8 spots to ensure that you get the support you deserve to do this deep healing work. So please don't wait to reach out. I'd love to help you transform your relationship with food and find lasting food and body peace.
Thank you for listening. If you want to connect with me outside of this podcast, you can find me on Instagram at coaching_therapist.
I'm Elizabeth. You can find me at Elizabeth Harris Nutrition or in my Facebook group, Health and Healing with Intuitive Eating.
And I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Tara DeLeon Fitness. Guys, if you loved this episode or any of our other episodes, we would love it if you would leave us a review on Apple Podcast. It really, really helps us get the non-diet word out to the rest of the world. So please leave us a review.
Yes, thank you.